Now, lots going on at Chelsea, as is so often the case. Beating Palmeiras last night at the Club World Cup, and they've confirmed yet another new signing in the last few minutes or so. Let's speak to our chief correspondent, Kaveh Solokol, who is still very much enjoying himself out in Philadelphia, I'm sure. Good afternoon to you. Has this been one that Chelsea have put a lot of work into, Kaveh?
Yes, they've been closely following Jamie Gittens for quite a while, and they have just announced in the last few minutes that the signing has been completed. Gittens was actually here in Philadelphia last night, and he was at the game when Chelsea were playing Palmeiras, and we saw him on the pitch afterwards. So it was an open secret that he was going to become a Chelsea player. Chelsea playing Borussia Dortmund, £48.5 million for him, plus potentially £3.5 million in add-ons. I think Dortmund drove a pretty hard bargain. Dortmund, of course, are out here in the States as well. And the final negotiations between the clubs were carried out at Fort Lauderdale in Florida. But what it means for Gittens is that he gets the move that he's wanted for a long time. Other clubs were interested in signing him, for instance, Bayern Munich. But he made it clear to his representatives that he only wanted to move to Chelsea this summer, and he's now a Chelsea player. He signed a 7-year contract. Also, it means that Chelsea have spent pretty big in the transfer market already this summer. Of course, they signed Liam Delap. They got João Pedro from Brighton last week, and now they've completed the signing of Jamie Gittens. He won't be able to play for them in this tournament, though, because he's already played for Borussia Dortmund. I think he's going to stay with the Chelsea squad for a couple of days before going on holiday.
You just mentioned it there, Kaveh, that it is not the first of the summer with the likes of João Pedro and Liam Delap. It probably will not be the last either. You would have been asked the question a lot of times in the last couple of seasons, how are Chelsea still able to keep doing this? There was a fine from UEFA yesterday. You would think that all that means that at some point this summer they're going to have to sell some players as well.
Yes, because the settlement they've come to with UEFA also says that Chelsea will be limited to how many players they can register for the Champions League next season unless they balance their transfer spending. And that means, in the simplest terms, that as well as buying players, they will have to sell players. So we fully expect to see quite a few players leaving Chelsea over the next couple of weeks, as well as they seek to balance their transfer spending. I know a lot is made of the amount of money that Chelsea spend on transfers, but this window, you also have to remember that they qualified for the Champions League, which means they'll probably make an extra £100 million or so in revenue next season from playing in the Champions League. And also, they're making a lot of money from playing in this Club World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, let's just expand on that point a little bit then, because there are questions asked about how important this World Cup, or this Club World Cup, is financially for Chelsea. It's looking very, very lucrative indeed.
Yeah, I mean, basically, they've sort of hit the jackpot over the last couple of weeks. Just by winning last night, beating Palmeiras, they got an extra £15 million from FIFA. So far, for reaching the semi-finals, Chelsea have banked around £61 million. And that can increase by another £50 million or so, because if they beat Fluminense in the semi-finals on Tuesday, I think they make about another £23.5 million. And if they win the final, which is a week on Sunday in New York, they will get an extra £30 million as well. So not only will they be making probably around £100 million from playing in the Champions League next season, they'll also make more than £100 million if they manage to win this Club World Cup. Of course, that is controversial because the other clubs in the Premier League who also have to abide by UEFA and Premier League financial regulations will be saying, look, this is a little bit unfair. Chelsea are making all this extra money that there is no way of us making, and also Manchester City have made all this extra money from playing in the Club World Cup as well. But I suppose City and Chelsea would respond to that by saying, well, we qualified to play in the Club World Cup. We qualified to play in the US because we won the Champions League in the past 4 years, and that's how we earned our ticket to play in this new FIFA tournament. And if you want to play in the next one in 4 years' time, you better win the Champions League over the next 4 years.